into a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast. We have a very special guest with us this afternoon, one who is taking the Instagram, Facebook, Twitter world just by storm, the TikTok world by storm. Um, if you're not on social media, how you not know her? First of all, assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Walaikum salam.
And how do we pronounce your name?
My real name or like the brand name?
Both.
Okay. My name is Anora Muhammad Al Nura, like the surah.
Mhm.
And my social media name or my brand name is Lunar Al Nura. So a lot of people think my name is Lunar or Luna, but it's Anora.
Okay, so okay, perfect. And who are your parents?
My father is Brother Antoine Muhammad. My mother is her name is Tiffany. She's not in the nation,
Mhm.
but her name is Tiffany McLean.
Okay, beautiful. And what got you into becoming an influencer and making these wonderful videos?
Well, originally I didn't really know. Well, who inspired me, I should say, is Brother Ben X.
Okay.
When I was 18 or 17, I was graduating high school, and you get that. What are you going to do for the rest of your life? I previously decided that I no longer wanted to go to college because it just wasn't feeling right
Mhm.
with me. And I said I was going to join the Nation of Islam. Brother Ben was like a heavy influence on me because I saw that he was making social media. That was like his lifestyle. That was the way he was generating income. And he had like I don't know if he had a business at the time, but anyways, he was making money using social media. And I was like, you know what? It was like intriguing to me. Like maybe I can do that. And I had a really small thought. It was just like maybe one day I can be the female version of him, just showing the
Mhm.
female side of the Nation of Islam, because that's not something I've never really seen before. And
Mhm.
Brother Ben X was kind of like someone I've never really seen before. And he actually is what attracted me back to the teachings, because of course I grew up with it, but once I became a teenager, kind of I was in the world with my friends doing what teenagers do, but like seeing him on social media kind of brought me back. So that he kind of influenced me, and like hearing his story and how he was once an insecure type of shy person, and even though he still is, I was the same way and I still am. But through challenging myself and then having the believers believing in me and helping me to become a better person, that's kind of how I was like moved to become an influencer. Like I never really started there. I knew it was like in the back of my mind that it was going to happen, but I
Okay.
had so many insecurities and I was just so afraid to be on camera and just anxiety that I knew that I had a lot to work on. So I actually only started embracing it and actually doing things just this past year, and really more so picking it up earlier this year. So it's still only the beginning for me, but I've been blessed ever since. And I feel like Allah is forcing me to do this more, because every time I try to do something else, I literally get a headache and it just never works. So yeah, I'm just going with the flow of what Allah want me to do. And right now it's an influencer. I pretty much want to hold myself open to whatever it is He want me to do. So yeah.
Praise be to Allah. Wonderful. My sister Miriam sends the greetings. Sister Candace sends the greetings. Brother Joseph sends the greetings. And Brother Patrick said, Brother Minister Patrick said, she is so talented. My next question for you is, how do you handle anxiety, and what advice would you give to other young people in handling anxiety dealing with social media?
Ooh, that's a great question. Because again, we're gonna bring this back to Brother Ben X. I remember him saying something like actually forcing himself to do the YouTube videos and social media brought him out of his shell. And it's the same way for me. Not even just social media, but this last year I've been doing a lot of reflecting because we ain't got nothing else to do.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm thinking back to the mosque meetings, and I'm just like, wow, okay, actually forcing myself to speak up on Friday night when we have our study groups, that helped me a lot. And I'm just remember like, dang, I'm really grateful for that, because a lot of times I used to get anxiety because I didn't like talking. I didn't like sharing my thoughts because I didn't think that I knew how to speak. I didn't think that I knew how to properly. I didn't think that I knew the teachings properly enough to share what was in my brain. Pretty much.
Okay.
But being a part of the study groups and sharing, just 2 sentences every week that helped me. And I noticed that when I didn't share or just succumb to the anxiety, that I'd feel so terrible about myself, and I'd feel myself actually reverting back to like a quiet, reserved person. I knew I didn't want to be that person anymore. So I just forced myself to talk, even if it was just a sentence, just baby steps, building my way up until I eventually started opening up on Sundays because I was being, asked to. I'd never volunteered to do anything, but
Okay,
the
okay,
believers,
okay.
they they were like, oh, you should do this. And I low-key didn't want to do it, but deep down I know I did. So I'd forced myself to do that. And then I eventually did a lecture for the first time. I did about 2. They were kind of all over the place, but it was, again, baby steps. And actually, well, the beginning of this year, what was that? Like January, before Savior's Day, I remember. I wasn't as vocal as I wanted to be, and I just said, you know what, this year I am going to start talking more, because I still had the fears. I still do get anxious and stuff. Like, I don't think anxiety ever goes away.
Okay, okay.
I just don't succumb to it anymore. It doesn't bother me as much as it did.
Praise be to Allah.
Beginning of this year, I started doing little stuff. Like, I started introducing TikToks, just started embracing myself a little more, because I didn't think people were going to enjoy like that weird, funny stuff that I do, because I don't know. I just thought it would be, I don't know why. Again, I convinced myself that it wasn't going to do nothing. But anyways, I just forced myself to do that. 15 seconds. It's not long at all. Just to try to share whatever I can within less than 60 seconds, a minute. So just constantly forcing myself to put out content, no matter how crazy I might think that I look or how much I think that I don't make any sense.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's pretty much how I overcame the anxiety. I still have it, which is why I'm trying to work more so on the YouTube, because it's like longer than 1 minute. And in doing so, it's just like doing a lecture. You have to structure an intro, body, and then a conclusion. So that's kind of where I'm going with the YouTube. And again, I'm still building. It's only been a year, so yeah, that's how I'm overcoming the anxiety. Just forcing myself to put out the content no matter what.
Excellent. And how can we support you in your because once I'll be uploaded on YouTube, and how can we support you in your page to help you become more successful?
Sharing feedback, getting feedback, sharing information with me, because I don't know everything. I'm still a baby at this, but I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to bring on people to my platform who know what they're talking about, to explain things in the more deeper way. Like, I don't want it to just be me when it comes to something about like maybe the MGT, because I don't know everything. I'm still learning. So by bringing someone else on and having people who are willing to actually talk about what they have been through and how the nation has affected them and the MGT and all of that type of stuff, like, that'd be great. So I just need willing people to come help and just teach me stuff, because I'm a student. I am, again, still a baby in the teaching. So that's how you can help. And, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can subscribe at Lunar Elnora. But
Can you spell that? Can you spell that for people who want to like watch it? Can you spell it for everybody?
Lunar Elnora, LUNARALNURA. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but I thought it sounded cool when I was like 17, so I went with it.
Yes, ma'am. Excellent. And earlier you spoke of when you left. You said you were with your teenagers, going through your teenage fund. What advice would you give to other young people about how to, find faith again, or regain faith, if you will?
For his teenagers, can you be a little more specific, like you,
yes, no, period, because you said at one point you had the teachings, and then you said you knew them, and then you just wanted to be with your friends, and then you came back. What advice would you give to people who are battling with the same issue, battling with the same thing?
I actually did not have the teachings. Like, I knew of them because my father, but I was never formally taught anything. So for me, the learning process was literally me learning everything. And I had to have that in me to want to learn everything. Just like you can't teach somebody about, you can't teach like a 12-year-old about business when they don't care about business. It might not get into their brain and like sink in until like 16, but you can't tell them at 12 because they're not going to accept that information.
Yes, ma'am.
But I don't know. I guess for those who may be in who I'm going to say the ones that are in the nation and they have the influence of the world, of course. But I guess my advice would be to just follow your heart and to remain, stay prayed up, and always stay true to yourself. Because when you're a teenager, there's so much that goes on in your brain, and you think one small inconvenience is like the end of the world, the end of your future, like you just ruined everything. But because of all of the hormones and stuff, oh my God, that was a crazy time. But just keeping Allah and your true self at the forefront, no matter what it is that you're doing. So even if you're not praying, just remembering and keeping that self-accusing spirit alive. Because I've never wasn't really I didn't consider myself a Muslim growing up because I didn't want to be labeled like, as you would in school from small-minded children. But but he was always in the back of my mind whenever something were to come up, like my friends were peer pressuring me to do something, and it's always the little voice in the back of your head, and you're like, you shouldn't be doing that. You've never been taught this, but because the influence was there, you weren't supposed to be doing it. And just always listening to that voice, no matter what it is, no matter how much someone's outside influence may be on you, always remember and come back to what you've been taught and what your parents have taught and told you. Because at the end of the day, you may not realize it now, but they were right. You will realize that. I don't know when you will. Some people take a little longer, but me, because I didn't go to school and I'm forced to sit at home and think about myself and reflect on life, I'm getting it now. But they were right. Okay, they were right, and they deserve all the credit. So, yeah, I guess that's what I can say. Stay true to yourself, always remain grounded, and never lose you, no matter how strong that outside influence is.
Beautiful. Okay, excellent. Now, you live in a place where my family and I would love vacationing in the summertime, in Wisconsin. I don't know how far Wisconsin Dells is from you, but what do you do for fun besides having Noah's Ark and the amazing go-karts and things of that nature?
See, that's crazy. You saying that's amazing. I'm just like, ew, gross. I'm over it. Because I literally grew up with it. I remember one year for 5 years, we go at least 4 times a year to the Dells. Mm-hmm. I grew up there, and now that I'm older, I'm starting to see how disgusting everything is. It's like really for Caucasians because of how raggedy and old and disgusting and just, I don't know. Water parks just make me gross now because I'm older and not.
So you don't like water parks? Okay. So what do you do?
I do like water parks. Yes, I haven't been in a while. Yeah, it's been a long time. I haven't been in a while, but I like watching movies for fun. Since I spend a lot of time working, and there's nowhere else to go. Lately I dedicate a day to where I will at least watch one movie or like the end of the day. And I like to play a game called The Sims on my laptop.
Okay.
For hours until I get tired.
And which Sims is there? Because my sister used to be obsessed. My sister Naomi used to be obsessed with The Sims. So Sims we had to get her 4. So many. So which one? Sims 4?
Sims 4. That's my favorite.
Okay.
I can do it. What else I like to do for fun? If it wasn't COVID, I like to travel. I really do love traveling. I actually traveled for the first time on my own this year to Disney World, January, and I had all these expectations about 2020, like I'm gonna go there, and then boom, COVID hit. But it's still in me. I'm gonna be traveling, inshallah. soon, but
Wonderful. Well, I'm glad you got to go to Disney World, one of my favorite places in the world to ever travel.
yes, I love traveling. I love going to amusement parks. I'm actually overcoming those fears of those roller coasters. So I like overcoming fears. And that's why I love the amusement parks so much, because I grew up hating them so much. I actually like watching scary movies now, which is insane. I never liked them growing up, but once I overcame the fear, I'm like, wow, I actually like this feeling. It's this weird kind of scary feeling inside. I like that.
Okay.
I don't know. That's I can't think of anything else. I like eating, but I only try to eat when it's time to eat. But that's fine,
Okay.
I guess.
Wonderful. My sister Mimi wants to know, what was it like to travel alone to Disney?
Well, I wasn't necessarily alone. I should have said without my parents. It was my first
Okay,
trip.
okay.
Well, it's not my first trip, but without someone who was older than me, I should say. I've traveled with my friend. She's like 24, and I'll kind of lean on her like a parental, because she was doing everything for me. But this was the first time I ever had to do anything by myself. And oh my God, I've never been so happy in my life. That was the best trip ever, because I've never got a glimpse of adulthood yet until that trip. Like I'm at home still. I'm under my parents' guidance, and I'm still in my hometown. And that was like the first time I ever got to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And I was just like, oh my God, I love this. Uh, it was the greatest 4 days of my life. So
Okay, excellent. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
yeah.
Well, what is your favorite album of all time?
I don't know. I'm gonna cry. I don't like this. I have whenever someone asks that question, I think of like an album that I know every single song. Like I just love every single song.
Okay.
But I don't know, there's a few. I'm just gonna say what's at the top of my head right now, because why not? To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar.
Okay, that's good.
Classic. I love that album.
That's
Every single, even the Mortal Man. I know
Yeah.
every word. 15 minutes, but I know every word because it's so good. It's like a message. It's not like I'm just listening to it. I'm getting something from it.
That's a good one.
Can I have more than one?
Absolutely. Let's hear him. What's up? Let's go with it.
It's too hard. I can't. To Pimp a Butterfly. Second one. Take Care album by Drake. I was like 11 when I came out and changed my life. Knew it word for word.
Okay. Oh, it's up there. You see it. I don't know if you see it, but it's up there.
Yeah. Take Care. That's a dope wall, by the way. Oh my goodness.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'm gonna have something like this. Trip album by Jhené Aiko.
Okay.
A couple years ago. And just for, I'm just 5. What's that last one? Logic.
Okay. Now I'm glad you said that. See, a lot of people sleep on Logic. I'm like, okay, me too. A lot of people sleep on Logic.
See, it's like rare. I find a human being. What album was that? The one that was not this recent one, but the one before that. It was like a story.
The one where the cover was him playing the video games. The one where
Everybody.
Okay.
One that came out in 2017.
Yeah. That's the one.
Album cover.
Yeah.
Oh man, every song. Logic is he's
Logic
up there with my top artists for rappers. So.
And you were literally the first person I've ever heard say that, because every time I tell people I like Logic, they're like, "You don't like Logic."
I know, everybody like Logic. Nah, man. That man is.
And then I'm glad he got the success with the Suicide song. I'm glad that people cross over to a lot of people to help people, because I liked him way before that, but I'm just glad that was.
I'm like, y'all late, but whatever. I guess it's better late than never. Because that man, Logic. I just love how his music is purposeful. Like he speaks about his journey, his story, like how he started as like just like him in his apartment, but he just worked so hard, and then here he is now. I just love that. I love it so much, and I love his music.
Same here, and I think that it's messed up that people attack him for always talking about him being mixed and always being black, but they don't say nothing about other people when they talk about the same stuff too. So I'm like, come on, man, that's his story. Let him live it. You know what I'm saying?
He might see. I always like to think he might not look like a black man, but this man, he identifies as black, just like Master Fard Muhammad. He did not look black.
Just like Drake, J.
Black
Cole,
man.
and every other mixed person, Bob Marley.
Exactly.
There've been plenty of mixed artists that came before that people, don't treat like how they treat Logic. I don't know what Logic did to people.
He just looks like a white boy, and it's
Yeah.
hard. It's really hard to believe because he really does look like a white boy, but he's not. That's
Yeah,
why.
Logic can rap. Okay, boom. Well, I want to thank your parents, thank your family for just supporting you. Once again, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. Please keep up the positive work that you are doing.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
the fact that your dad said he remembered me when I was young and drilling and stuff, that means a lot. So shout out to your dad for that.
Yes,
And just
sir.
keep up doing the great work that you're doing. If there's anything that we could do to assist you, let me know. If you have any projects, come back to the People's Podcast. Let us get the exclusive.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I will.
And thank y'all for watching the People's Podcast. Thank you for watching this episode. Like, share, subscribe. Luna Al Nura on everything.
Yep.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.